New Mexico State has won the WAC Tournament Championship 3 years running and is favored this year to make that a four-peat. Tonight they host a UTEP team expected to make a run at the Conference USA crown. The Miners visit the Aggies. Next. Tonight at the Pan American Center in Las Cruces, New Mexico, it's round 2 of the Battle of I-10. The UTEP Miners have come 40 miles down the road to take on the New Mexico State Aggies. And welcome to Las Cruces. Dave Barnett along with Ben Braun. These two have already played round 1 this year, and UTEP had to come from behind to win by 1 in El Paso. And Ben, I know it's the kind of series that you wish there was more of around college basketball.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. You know, it's unprecedented that these teams play 2 times during the year, and that's great for college basketball. It should be a whale of a game.
There's breaking news regarding New Mexico State. Their WAC Player of the Year, the preseason favorite to repeat as WAC Player of the Year, Daniel Mullings, announced earlier today will be out a minimum of 8 weeks. He broke a finger in practice Thursday and will undergo surgery. What does that do to the Aggies?
Well, that's a huge loss, Dave, not just for this game, but as you mentioned, for the season. He's going to have to work himself back in and won't get back until later this year. So did lose the hands-on favorite now to be Player of the Year candidate for the 2nd straight year.
And that will make things, as far as New Mexico State's challenge in dealing with Vince Hunter, the top player returning for UTEP, even more difficult tonight.
Well, it will. Vince Hunter's a guy that's averaging a double-double. That's just really unheard of. Very few players in the country can say that they average a double-double. And this young man, only a sophomore, averages a double-double for Tim Floyd's club.
These two played a 1-point game in El Paso. New Mexico State tries to even the Battle of I-10. When we come back, we'll have the opening lineups and the tip from the Pan American Center here in Las Cruces. Okay. Not starting. Lights are out at the Pan American Center for the introductions of the Aggies of New Mexico State. Unbeaten here at home, 3-0 this year, and they bring a 13-game home winning streak into tonight. They've won 32 of their last 34 here since the start of the 2012-13 season. They have not won on the road, however, including that 77-76 loss on November 22nd in El Paso. UTEP is 4-2, and they have changed up their lineups. The lineups, as they have been adjusted, do not include Vince Hunter, who had trouble coming into the game and getting himself going in their last game, in which, against Colorado State, he managed only 4 points and 4 rebounds, early turnover problems. And Tim Floyd has changed up the lineup already a lot this year, and this is the most surprising change at all. That does not actually include Hunter tonight.
Well, it is, Dave, and you know, there's could be a myriad of reasons why that happens. Only the coach knows, and we're going to have to find out as the game goes on, but I'm sure you'll see Vince Hunter into this game at some point and make his mark.
New Mexico State's lineup for at least 8 weeks will not include, as we said, Daniel Mullins, awaiting surgery on a finger injured in practice Thursday, so the onus falls on Trayvon Landry, 6'1" sophomore guard from San Antonio.
Well, it's a time for other players to step up, and you know, players off the bench relish this time, Dave. So this will be a really good opportunity for other players. This is a building now where New Mexico State is averaging 84 points. They average only 64 on the road, but in this building, 84 big points a game. So this is an opportunity for some guys to step up and add to that total.
New Mexico State has been hit maybe as hard as any team in the country by the injury bug. Mullins one of 4 major injuries, and they're only 8 games into the season. And UTEP controls the tap, and C.J. Cooper, a senior point guard from Chino, California, matched with Ian Baker. Matt Wilms up top. He's 7'1", sophomore from Canada. And more size inside for the Miners, as Pascal Siakam turns back the shot by the 6'10" senior Cedric Lang.
Nice defensive play, but you see where Tim Floyd wants to go with the ball right inside and try to get their big guys in foul trouble.
Shot put up and goes in and out from C.J. Cooper from 18 feet. Here come the Aggies. Landry out of Huntington Prep in West Virginia, one of the top programs in the country. A good pedigree on his way to Las Cruces.
You know, David, it'll be interesting to see if Coach Marvin Menzies continues with that pressure. It's something he's done all year. Last year, more of a half-court team. This year, really trying to step up the pressure and see if they maintain that pressure from start to finish.
Well, as the numbers continue to drop and the injuries pile up, hard to play the way he wants to.
Oh, absolutely, depth's a big factor.
Remy Berry with the miss. Cooper, 7th all-time in three-point shooting in UTEP history, and drops in that jumper on the run from the baseline.
Well, 2 possessions, and they've gone into Lang both times. Cedric Lang, really, Dave, is a player I've coached against. I don't think there's been a player that's improved more in the Conference USA than this young man, and they're going through him. They're going to him early, and they're getting some high, I think some rewards.
First foul of the game called on Julian Washburn at UTEP. This is Siakam, 6'9", redshirt freshman from Dula, Cameroon. New Mexico State, highly recruited from beyond the borders of the United States.
Here's the full court pressure is really going to be a factor now for New Mexico State. They're going to try to really make those bigs get up and down, and also see if they can create some turnovers and some transition baskets for themselves.
Siakam, one of 9 foreign-born players on the Aggie roster. On the inside feed, as Wilms turning for the short banker, and he shot it too short. But the offensive board comes down to Lang, and they can reset. Washburn, senior from Dallas. 3 senior starters for Tim Floyd. It's his 5th year at UTEP. 23-win season. Big block by Lang. Into his own bench.
Well, tough going up against the Twin Towers down there. It's this is one of the biggest teams Tim Floyd's had at any level. He really is going with this big lineup, and they're paying dividends so far for him.
UTEP last swept this Battle of I-10 series 4 years ago. They have in mind tonight. D.K. Eldridge out to Remy Berry. Drops in the 3. Berry, their leading scorer, slightly more points per game than Mullins before Daniel was injured. And a held ball, and the arrow will send it back the other way.
Well, Berry and Eldridge both had big games against UTEP last time, and they're going to have to come up big again tonight. But obviously, Berry off to a very good start with that jumper. You know, players like to hit that first jump shot, Dave. When you hit that jump shot, it loosens you up, your confidence level goes up, and your players rally around you.
Marvin Menzies' 8th year at New Mexico State. 4 WAC titles in his last 5 years, including the last 3 in a row. Got a lot more difficult the last 48 hours. Trayvon Landry got inside. Had it knocked away and captured by Matt Williams. And it's Omega Harris rejected out of bounds by Eldridge.
Now you mentioned Marvin Menzies. He's done just a whale of a job here over the last couple of years. Really put together some great basketball teams. You're seeing the crossover and just great defensive reaction.
Up fake by C.J. Cooper. Got himself a wide open miss from the corner. The Aggies with a chance to run. Siakam hemmed in, but he found Barry down the throat of the lane for the jam finish.
Great look post to post.
For a guy playing his first year of organized basketball.
Well, Marvin loves him. They thinks he's like a sponge and he's only going to get better. That's scary because he's awfully good right now.
Pascal Siakam, WAC's early season shot blocking leader. He's learned a thing or two about passing as well. Nifty footwork, but no finish by Lang. And it is out of bounds off of UTEP.
Did everything but finish that play. Nice crossover step. Just couldn't finish it, but you can see again where they're trying to go.
UTEP now 1-4-8. Marvin Menzies, 26-10 last year, his 5th 20-win season with the Aggies. Lost in the NCAAs in overtime, 73-69 to San Diego State, a team he coached at as an assistant, 99-03.
Well, he's done a great job. I remember coaching against Marvin Menzies when he was with Steve Fisher at San Diego State, and he always did a great job, not just recruiting, but coaching the young men he had. He's mentored some coaches along the way. One of the better guys in the business. He and Tim Floyd, guys I've known, I've had the pleasure of coaching against. Maybe not the pleasure, I should say, because those teams are awfully hard to play against.
The challenge of coaching against.
Absolutely.
And 3.5 minutes into the game, we see Vince Hunter for the first time. Out of the starting lineup, in and out and back in for D.K. Eldridge, senior guard out of Dallas. Preseason second team All-WAC selection. Good start. Extremely short-handed New Mexico.
Keep your eye on Barry and Eldridge again. They were big against UTEP, and they're going to have to be big again tonight.
Here is Vince Hunter, averaging 16 and 11.2 rebounds, which is 8th nationally. 6'8" sophomore out of Detroit. Lang turns on Siakam and draws the foul.
You know, Dave, he didn't have those moves a year ago. It's amazing. It's really amazing what he's done in just a one-year time. His coaching staff has done a great job with Cedric.
We're early in Las Cruces, but a good start for New Mexico State. They lead UTEP by 5.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own. Out with nowhere to go. Out with nothing to do. Out all afternoon when anything can happen. But every afternoon is a chance to change America's future. All you have to do is open the door. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Boca Raton, Dallas, Miami Beach, Albuquerque, St. Petersburg, the Bahamas. Great food, great music, great culture, and great fun. From the jazz-filled streets of the French Quarter to the sun-soaked sands of Hawaii, our bowl game destinations have a history of greats. Your vacation is our bowl game. Come join us.
New Mexico State 3 out of 7, including a three-pointer by Remy Berry, and they've held UTEP to 1 for 8 shooting in the first 4+ minutes of this game.
Well, UTEP's struggling to get off to a good start, something they've really worked out. Now you're going to see a double team. You're going to see an opportunity right now coming the other way. I guess we won't.
But what caught your eye was?
Well, Tim Floyd, and that's been a staple in his defense. He's double-teamed the post, and when you have 7-footers down there, it really makes it difficult when you go in and you get those two big guys double-teaming. But New Mexico State did a great job getting out of that, which hopefully we'll see a little bit later.
Cedric Lang fouled by Pascal Siakam. Floyd, 21st year in college head coaching, not counting time spent in the NBA with the Bulls and the Hornets.
Well, he's trying to figure out a way to get his team going, but I think getting Vince Hunter back in the game is one good step to get that happening.
You figure he's just trying to make a point to Vince Hunter by not starting?
Well, it could be, and maybe Vince has been a slow starter too, and so you never know. Sometimes the best players play off the bench. It's something that coaches do, and it's motivational, and it also helps the players sometimes. But
not usually guys that are averaging double-doubles.
Well, I'd like them on the floor as often as you can, but we'll see what happens. It's a long game. 40 minutes, a long game.
Contact, but nothing called. The matchup with Barry, except now he's called for traveling.
That's one thing that Vince is going to have to work on. He's such a good player, and if he's got any Achilles, it's probably the turnovers. He's averaging, I think, 3+ a game, and so he's going to have to work on, especially on forced turnovers, just slowing down a little bit. But he does make so much happen for his team. You don't want to take his aggressiveness away.
85 wins for Tim Floyd with UTEP. That is second in school history. He is a mere 634 wins behind Don Haskins.
That's not, that's tough to catch right there. That's a legend, and Tim, having worked for Don Haskins, he'll tell you a lot of stories about Coach Haskins. Certainly a legend.
Siakam chased out by Hunter. Here's Eldridge. Preseason second team all wax selection. More falling on his shoulders now. In the absence of the injured Mullins. And the hold here is going to be called on Hunter.
Thought he had decent position, but the referees, I think, saw some body contact. UTEP's trying to turn up the heat a little bit, use their range, their size, their quickness to force some turnovers.
Just in off the bench, Jonathan Wilkins, and he missed a point-blank spinning hook shot off the inbound. UTEP gets away with leaving a 6'10" Jonathan Wilkins wide open underneath. Hunter feeding Washburn. Tried to reverse, knocked away. And a chance for Eldridge and the Aggies to run. And Tom O'Neill says offensive foul on DK.
Cooper stepping up, taking a big charge right there, giving up his body. That's what leaders do. And big play, because that obviously was a fast break going in New Mexico State's advantage. Right now, UTEP's got a decision to make. Do they push the ball, they attack their pressure, or do they set it up where they have a decided advantage? It's interesting to see what's going to happen from that regard. But I think UTEP's going to try to take advantage and get some breaks. They've got some quickness, and I think they like to play in that exchange baskets, try to get to the rim, see if they get to the foul line.
Mega Harris, freshman from Bethany, Oklahoma. Baker with a no-look feed inside to Siakam, his first two. And back up by 5, New Mexico State. Harris out of Putnam City West High School, runner-up, Oklahoma Player of the Year. 25 points in the final for the state runner-up. All alone in the corner was Washburn. He decided to take it all the way in and draws the foul on Wilkins.
Well, that's vintage Julian Washburn, Dave. He's awfully aggressive to the basket, and now he's been knocking down jump shots, makes him a very hard player to guard.
UTEP has missed 9 straight shots. Not a bad idea to try and see what you can get inside.
Well, and also get to the foul line. Sometimes when you're struggling from the field, what the doctor orders for you is to get to the foul line and see if you can knock some shots down, get the other team in foul trouble. And that's going to be something that UTEP's going to have to do. And on a short bench, you want to see if you can get New Mexico State in foul trouble. So that's going to be something to keep your eye out to see if UTEP exploits that as the game goes on.
Wendy Berry returns to replace Wilkins. UTEP still only 1 field goal. And Washburn, their best free throw shooter, 83%, misses both. 6.5 minutes in. Miners still with only 4 points, but a chance to run here. Hunter and Berry. Out to the corner, and it's Irvin Morris missing his first shot. 10 straight misses by UTEP. But another whistle. This is going to be on Ian Baker, the sophomore from Washington, D.C. Whistle for his first.
You know, it's so perplexing when you get off to these kind of starts, Dave. You don't know what to do sometimes as a coach. You try to insert different guys in the lineup. Sometimes you try to get back to the foul line, but it's like anything else. Once you knock down your first shot or two, things are going to start to go in bunches. So look for that to happen.
They do for a hot streak because they are now 1 for 12 from the field as Hunter missed point blank.
Good look.
They've had good looks.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, New Mexico State still only up by 5. They have not run away and hidden. Siakam rejected by the 7-1 Matt Williams.
Good save.
Save was by Irvin Morris, junior college transfer from Memphis. Now the matchup to watch. Hunter takes it in on Berry, and the streak continues. Miss after miss after miss for UTEP. Now 1 for 13 from the field. One of the toughest shots they've tried ends that frustration, though, and it's Irvin Morris.
Huge
First
basket.
field goal since 1905, almost 7 minutes.
Well, that's a huge basket by Morris. Obviously, that gets him back, back on track.
And then Wilms called for his first. Lou Stallworth, freshman from Newhall, California, into the game for Washburn. And Menzies will give Siakam his first breather, and Wilkins back in. Jalen Penny also in for the first time. He's a 6'7" redshirt freshman. One of many from Toronto on the Aggie roster.
Well, you're looking at the New Mexico State quickness, Dave. They're really quick off the bounce, and they get into the paint and cause problems for UTEP. UTEP's going to have to really funnel the ball either on the outside like they do. That's something staple of Tim Floyd, to funnel it down and keep it out of the middle, but that time greater penetration inside and do the foul.
Stallworth picks up his first. Here's Eldridge out of Lincoln High School in Dallas, and junior college ball at Hobbs, New Mexico. 3 years there, including a medical redshirt season. He was all newcomer in the WAC as a junior.
Well, he leads their team. He's been to the line. He's a guy that can get the line, but he also leads their team in three-point attempts. So this guy can do a lot of things for his team.
He's extended the lead back to 5. And Menzies deciding to stay with the full court pressure, even with the numbers down and the injuries mounting. So far, it's worked. UTEP shooting 14%, 2 for 14 from the field. Coming in, they were at 44%, also allowing 44%. Morris dropping it off for Hunter. Shot clock a factor for the first time. Down to 5 as Stallworth misses. Off-balance shot across the paint. No call on the bump. Eldridge ended up with a good look, but the putback won't fall for Penny. And it's Cooper pushing the pace. Nothing falling for the Miners.
No, but Dave, they are getting to the rim, so hopefully, they can still bottle that and keep taking to the basket. But tough shooting percentage, tough day at the office, knocking down shots.
2 out of 15. They only trailed by 5.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
New Mexico State leading by 5. They're only 8 games into their season, but Thursday hit with their 4th major injury. Daniel Mullings out at least 8 weeks, looking at surgery on a broken finger, suffered Thursday in practice, and he adds himself to the list that just continues to grow. Chalizzi and the Poway out 4 weeks with a foot. Their 7'3" redshirt freshman Tanvir Bular out 6 more weeks, preseason ankle injury. Anthony January, ankle surgery done for the season. And now Mullings. How does Marvin Menzies, first of all, maintain any kind of morale, and secondly, piece together a competitive team with those major pieces?
Well, that's difficult. That's what a challenge of coaching, Dave. And you know, Marvin's a positive guy, and he's a worker, and he'll get through this. You know, if you coach long enough, you're going to experience that, but you can't be down. You can't have your players down. You don't make excuses. And you push forward, but those guys will eventually get back. It's a time for your team for somebody else to step up and make a difference. You'll just be not that much better a team come January and into your conference.
Well, this is a 3-point game because New Mexico State now has gone cold. They're only 4 for 15 from the field. Their last field goal more than 3 minutes ago. Eldridge counted.
Well, these are 2 good defensive teams, but I don't know that they're as good as what percentages are right now, but I know that, you know, that's how you stay in games, by playing solid defense, and hopefully your shots start falling. But that's a pretty smart move again, trying to take the Miners to the basket, get to the foul line, and now a chance for an and one.
And he also gives Vince Hunter his 2nd foul. And the 3-point play for a 6-point lead. 7 of the 14 Aggie points put up by B.K. Eldridge. One thing Marvin Menzies does have is lots of experience. He's got 4 seniors, 3 of whom are in their 5th year. Medical red shirts, not uncommon in the Aggie roster. Morris misses on the drive, and the offensive rebound stripped away from Wilms. So far, it has been B.K. Eldridge picking up the slack from Mullins. Nice drive and finish by Matt Taylor, a redshirt freshman, another one from Toronto for New Mexico State. And they have their largest lead of the night now, up to 8.
Well, they've been here before. They had UTEP down on the road, but here it's going to be a little different, Dave. You don't want to get down if you're Tim Floyd and the UTEP Miners. You don't want to get down on the road. A little bit more difficult to come back on the road.
Hunter left in the game by Floyd after picking up the 2nd foul. Shot clock under 5. What a wraparound pass, and again, Cooper sets up Wilms, unable to finish, but a New Mexico State foul.
You know, they've been working on him, Dave, to really keep his head up. You see him, he's putting his head down right now. That's a really good hustle play. He misses his shot, but he gets his rebound and has a chance for a 3-point play. Their coaching staff has worked really hard on this young man, keeping his head up, staying positive, because he can do so many things for his team. He came off his best game of the year against Colorado State in his very last outing.
Wilms, 11 points. His 5th career double-figure performance. And on the scoreboard here. Braxton Huggins is checked in for the first time as Ervin Morris comes up with the steal for the Miners. And trying to strip it right back was Eldridge.
Well, you see UTEP now again, Dave, going back to that big lineup, and it's difficult. You can take the ball to the basket against the front line of 7'1", 6'8", and 6'10". There's not a lot of room to the basket, so now they're going to have to find other ways to score in New Mexico State. Here, another aggressive move and just a reach in.
They call that on Siakam. I wonder if they'll correct that.
I think they're talking about it right now. I think Marvin's making the point to veteran official Tom O'Neill, and let's see if they correct it.
That would be Siakam's second, so it's not a minor issue if you're Marvin Menzies.
Well, he wants that young man in the game. He's a big factor for his team, and they're talking about it right now. I don't think you can go to the monitor on that, but hopefully Marvin will plead his case. I don't think he wants to have one of his top players on the bench early in foul trouble. Looks like he may make a substitution. He's not happy about the call, or at least he's not happy about who was assigned the foul. He's still trying to get Tom O'Neill. He's working it pretty hard.
1 out of 2. Well, had to pull Pascal Siakam. As it is in the books. That's his second foul. Stolen, Hunter, breakaway jam.
Great double team at half court that really took New Mexico State by surprise. You see their size really bothered New Mexico State. Sudden trap, steal, and a Vince Hunter dunk. Really an important play at this point in the game.
Six unanswered by the Miners.
Well, they needed those points. They were down 8.
Here's Huggins, freshman from Bakersfield, California. Eldridge. And a miss on the baseline, boarded by Hunter. So far, the decision by Floyd to leave him in after he picked up his second has not hurt the Miners at all. This foul on Trayvon Landry, his first, making his second.
Actually, it wasn't a bad foul from New Mexico State. They were about to give up a wide open 3, and I'm not sure the way UTEP's playing right now. You don't want to get a 3 and then go up now and relinquish the lead.
And now Hunter will head to the bench. 8:36. UTEP 4 of 19 from the field, 21%, but they're 6 of 9 from the line. New Mexico State not shooting much better. They're only 3 of 3 at the foul line.
Really a good time to rest Vince Hunter and give him a quick break because it's the TV timeout coming up. You can actually save some time and get him a little extra time, plus the TV timeout. He'll probably be right back in the game, but I think coaches do that more and more. They look to the clock, see a TV timeout coming around the corner, get their best players out, and give them a little time on the bench.
C.J. Cooper makes it 8 unanswered for UTEP, and they pull even at 16.
Well, team fouls a factor, Dave. 18 fouls in New Mexico State. I know UTEP's going to take advantage of that. They're going to try to go inside either by the bounce or by the post-up, see if they can get to the foul line and even get a double bonus for the half shot.
Olivia Breeder, Ian Baker manning the point. This 3 from the corner by Taylor. So here come the Miners in search of the lead. And they get it on the driving reverse layup by Julian Washburn.
I know Marvin's upset about the rotation. That play shouldn't take place. He's supposed to get a little rotation down. Big guy's a little bit slow. And I know Julian Washburn's a fast player, but you got to come down and track down and rotate, cover those block areas.
Remy Berry, high arcing shot. We have the early 3 to get the Aggies rolling. 7 for Berry, a senior from Paris. 1 of 2 Aggies from France. They have 5 from Toronto. Siakam from Cameroon, 1 from South Africa. Only 4 Aggies from the U.S. Nice finish by Cedric Lang, who had some early inside looks fall off.
Now UTEP's in the rhythm and they're doing what they set out to do, but they're finishing. Big difference. That's a tough matchup for Lang. Berry saw it, crossed over, and took Lang off the dribble.
First foul on Cedric Lang. The Miners starting to put some offensive possessions together, and they have come from 8 down to lead by 2.
The University of Texas at El Paso is changing the face of higher education. UTEP is the first national research university with a 21st century student demographic. We are pursuing a quest for excellence while strengthening our commitment to access. We are creators, tomorrow's leaders. We are a university on the move. UTEP, the university at the forefront of higher education.
Tim Floyd began his head coaching career in Idaho, moved on to New Orleans, Iowa State, USC, then on to the NBA, the Bulls and the Hornets. The UTEP assistant back in the late 70s, early 80s, 8 NCAA tournaments, 4 NITs in his career, and they expect nothing less this year.
Well, Tim Floyd is really one of the top coaches in the country, and he has been for the last several years. Had, again, the pleasure of coaching against him at many stops at UNO, Cal, and at Rice, and his teams are always prepared. Tough to play against his teams. Marvin Menzie now is going to look for some adjustments out of his club, maybe on defense zone, and maybe trying to drive their bigs. That's where they got some mismatches. I think they're going to try to take their bigs out and see if they can get some driving angles against UTEP.
Neither team is shooting well, but maybe that's about to turn around as Braxton Huggins, the freshman, gets his first 2.
Look for a young man like Braxton Huggins to get in the game and make his mark, because there's going to be some opportunities for Coach Menzie.
You see the change you anticipated from New Mexico State as Hooper Vint comes in.
Well,
he goes right to work.
And I like what UTEP did. They didn't waste time just trying to get outside shots. They went right inside. But, you know, I think Marvin Menzie is going to make some changes, and it's a good time to do that.
One of them maybe being zone?
Yes, I think it's obviously they're having some difficulty guarding inside. They're also in deep foul trouble. So look for maybe next time or two down the floor, maybe a change of defense. I know he's got that in his repertoire. He's a good coach, and he'll make adjustments. But, you know, it's tough. You're talking about making adjustments now after losing, you know, one of your top players, and the players he's lost. You've got to make some adjustments awfully quick. It's something you have to do in a hurry.
Both teams in the bonus now. Here's Siakam, Cameroon, and spent some time playing basketball overseas, but not what we Americans would consider organized basketball.
No,
this is his first year.
Incredible, Dave, and Marvin talked about that today in shoot-around. He's really somebody that's just going to get better and better and better. And you see his touch right now. They like his touch. They like his athleticism. He's going to get stronger and more knowledgeable, but he looks very comfortable out there, and he's only going to get better. 1 year of organized basketball, incredible. He's performing at this level.
He had to pay his way into school because he was an academic non-qualifier. Now, usually that means that you didn't make your high school grades. In his case, it was that his grades grades were fine, but the courses he took didn't transfer.
Exactly. He's actually a very good student. He's a 3-point plus, 3.6 student. Done a good job. In fact, Marvin's team's done a great job in our APR. Their team has come all the way up to about 980. Great job.
Irvin Morris twice left alone in the corner. Second time he does not pass up the shot. He knocks down the 3.
Well, so much for my idea about going zone. That's why I'm sitting here, Dave, and I'm not sitting where Marvin's sitting. But, you know, UTEP's feeling it right now. What can you say? They're getting in a rhythm, and they're really turning things around. Their play has really stepped up. It's not how the game started, but they're sure playing well right now.
Eldridge back in. Taylor with a whistle down low. prevent call for his first. And the team fouls now even at 8. It'll be Siakam back to the line. Siakam, as he is learning the American collegiate game, here's how fast his curve has risen. He's already had a couple of 19-point games. He's had a 17-rebound game. That included 12 offensive boards against Stetson.
He's got 31 offensive rebounds on the year, and that's a great stat. He also has 15 blocks, and that's an impressive stat too, to come out there, and that can change games. So great to have him on the upswing. He's going to get better and better as the year goes on.
He's going to get an extra free throw here on a lane violation call against UTEP.
Tim's not happy about that. That was supposed to be going the other way, and now we'll get a chance. It's a 2-point swing in his, potentially a 2-point swing in his favor, in New Mexico State's favor.
Siakam last week, 3 games, averaged better than 13 points and almost 11 rebounds, and he is 4 for 4 now from the line. And Siakam heads to the bench after hitting them both, replaced by Jonathan Wilkins.
You know, a good idea with Cooper out to put some full court pressure on. Cooper's so good at it, but they're going to see if they can slow him down a little bit.
Hunter has returned. Barry trying to get the charge. They're letting him play here in Las Cruces.
I know Marvin's not happy about that call. He thought there was definitely contact. Refs thought it was more incidental, or maybe it was in the arc. Didn't want to call it.
This is called an offensive foul on Wilkins, his second.
Tough swing from New Mexico State.
Final 5 minutes of the half. And after trailing by 8, UTEP trying to add to a 3-point lead.
Tim Floyd wants to run his elbow series right now. He's going to try to bring guys to the elbow to the top and see if they can really, that's a good give and go.
Irvin Morris down to the baseline. That's goaltended by Matt Taylor. Counted for Hunter.
You know, it's amazing how quick Vince Hunter is at 6'8", how quick he gets to the rim. That's a tough matchup. I don't care who's guarding him. He's going to take advantage of it. It's very seldom a guy his size can move with his quickness and lateral quickness. He gets to the rim in a hurry.
He is 3 out of 5 coming off the bench tonight. And a 5-point lead. Down to 2 as the 3-pointer drops from Ian Baker. Washburn back in. He's the son of Chris Washburn, former NC State star, first-round pick. Offensive foul here.
There's the charge that Marvin wanted, and he finally got it.
And that is going to be number 3 on Hunter. 3 fouls coming off the bench.
That's significant. He was definitely set, Dave. Good call by the officials, and Vince's going to have to pull up and you know, find somebody or not, you know, avoid contact. That's a big loss to have Vince Hunter on the bench.
We started the season with 5 double-doubles. Earliest that had happened, first 5 games for UTEP since Jim Bad News Barnes did it. 1963, the season after which he was the first pick in the NBA draft.
Well, I remember him. I don't know. That's dating me, but he was an awfully good player for them, and he had a good pro career as well.
Matt Williams called for his second. Now suddenly they're not letting him play quite so freely.
Well, UTEP went from just a moment ago, it seemed, having only 5 team fouls. Now they're at 10, and New Mexico State's in the double bonus with 4 to go. That's a big stat.
Well, Wilkins looking to make his first collegiate free throw. He is 0 for 3, make it 0 for 4. Redshirt freshman, LaPorte, Indiana.
He's shooting 72% from the floor and 0 from the line. Go figure. That's not supposed to happen, but you know, again, this will turn around. I think when he can get his first one knocked down, get his confidence going. Looks like he has a good release.
high school ball in Indiana, but he's like Renberry, originally from France. And there's that first free throw.
Well, you're not from Indiana and miss free throws, I can tell you that. Not very often.
Go, go! A 1-point game with 4 minutes to go in the half. It's 2. Way to a 77-76 UTEP win November 22nd. Miners had to come from 15 back in that game. They were 8 down here early.
Great look by C.J. Cooper. You see him start one direction, misdirect, come back, wrap around pass, and really give Cedric Lang, I think, great position. That's a great move by a veteran floor leader. Knew exactly where to put the ball. Now he's got him at the foul line.
And he's got Wilkins in trouble. That's his third with 3:46 to go in the half.
For centuries, man has sought to combine incredible things. Cavemen combined fire with dead animals. Romans mixed togas with parties. Genius. And now, humanity has outdone itself because DraftKings.com combines one-day fantasy sports with winning life-changing amounts of cash. Introducing DraftKings $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. Get to DraftKings.com right now for one-day games that let you win daily. Plus huge cash prizes every week and a shot at that juicy multi-million-dollar main event. DraftKings.com is turning your fantasy into a cold, hard reality. Use promo code WIN to play and get free entry in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. Get to DraftKings.com now.
Discover something new at New Mexico State University, where students find themselves, who they are, and what they want to be. Find new champions, new experiences, new challenges, new opportunities and horizons. What will you discover at NMSU? Dedicated professors, the perfect college experience. Make lifelong friends and lasting memories. New Mexico State University, all about discovery. Apply today at nmsu.edu. That's nmsu.edu.
UTEP by 1 with 3:46 to go in the first half. New Mexico State trying to stay perfect at home. UTEP started the year 4-0, winning over Washington State, the first meeting with the Aggies. Princeton and Xavier, they lost their last two, both by 3 to Washington, 68-65 to Colorado State, 65-62, trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak in 2 years. That discussion involves what?
Well, I know that Marvin was concerned about some of the calls and having some of those guys on the bench, and he's voicing his opinion, as he should, and he's doing it in the proper way, and I think the officials, do a good job of listening. That's all you can do as an official's listen, and as a coach, get your point across. Right now, Dave, it's going to be interesting. We've got a great crowd here today. It's going to be interesting to see New Mexico State if they can get their crowd involved, because that's going to be a big factor. It's a part of this rivalry, and it can be tough down here. So we'll see. New Mexico State's doing a good job, really, only turning the ball over 2 times. They've had 3 20-turnover games, and I know Marvin's very happy about not turning it over. You can't play giveaway basketball against good teams like UTEP.
Both teams double bonus now, and the difference is at the free throw line, where UTEP is 10 of 13. New Mexico State 8 out of 9. Trayvon Landry. And underneath to Jalen Penny, turned away and ripped away by Lang.
Good series by UTEP.
This is Omega Harris, the freshman out of Bethany, Oklahoma. There's the 2-3 zone look.
Well, they finally went to it, and for good reason.
Three-pointer barely draws iron for Washburn.
Good move by Marvin Menzies to see if they can get UTEP to hit some shots.
Penny. First, I thought they were going to give that a clean block for Washburn. The call from Tom O'Neill is the second on Julian. Unless he's decided to put it inside on Williams.
A little bit of a delayed call right there. I think there's nothing wrong with the delayed call if it's the right call. And we'll see, you know, I don't know if you have a chance to look at that, but obviously UTEP's blocked the last several shots. I think there was some body right there. There was definitely hand-to-ball contact, but there was some lower body contact. Fish is doing a good job.
Banked in. Thank you very much by Jalen Penny.
Don't know if he called it, but they'll take it. That's a big shot. I know as a player, when you hit those shots straight out, that you got to act like you wanted one, but I don't think
Now, what he should do is deliberately try to bank this one in, and there will be no doubt left.
Well,
obviously, it's how he shoots them.
See how this one goes. If this one shakes out.
No. Kind of the other extreme.
Yeah. Good hustle by New Mexico State. Even though it's UTEP's ball, they're really scrambling right now. Again, this is a team that really offensive rebounds the ball, and if you're UTEP, you can't relax for a minute. And Tim Floyd's shoot around or practice yesterday, when we attended practice, they really emphasized not giving up offensive rebounds against a very quick New Mexico State team, because they're very good at it.
Last foul was the second on Washburn.
Now you see them back in the zone right now. They're going to make UTEP take a little time, stay out of foul trouble. But now they're going to go to that elbow series. They're going to try to get a high-low and then fan it for an open shot. I think Washburn was open, decided not to pull the trigger. Now they go short corner and trying to get some inside looks. Good look by UTEP. Great attack of the zone. They worked very hard at this again yesterday, and I think they did it right as Tim Floyd and his staff instructed.
Super Vince's best game so far. 4 points off the bench. And Washburn literally hopping mad. Tim Floyd has some smoke coming out of his ears as well. That's his third. And Floyd is he was about to get teed up.
This is where his assistants have to pull him. You know, and I know, Tim, you got to settle him down. You do not want to give up a technical foul and the ball. And the referee's doing a good job of walking away. Veteran official. His coaches are up right now trying to get him away.
Washburn thought it was clean block all the way. Floyd obviously agreed.
Don't know if we can see it, but you know, calls are made. You got to, you know, you're not going to change the call. You can make your point, but you cannot give up a technical here. Tim's going to have to settle himself down. Not easy. He's a fiery guy. Tim's a very fiery coach. Let's see how it looks from our vantage point.
A lot of ball, maybe a little hand as well.
Yeah. Well, they say if you get the ball first and come down on the hand second, that's probably not a foul. And Tim's pleading his case to Chris Rastetter along the way, and they'll probably talk about it at halftime, but he's got to get into halftime without incident, and that's tough for a competitor and a feisty coach like Tim Floyd.
Randy Berry knocks down all 3 free throws and brings the Aggies within 1 at the 2-minute mark of the half.
I'm impressed with Lang. He does a very good job of handling himself on the press.
Washburn still in there with 3 fouls.
That's surprising. I'm not sure if they know it. There's a good high-low look.
Goaltended, the hook by Vince. Goaltended by Penny.
Great look, Dave. I don't know if you can see that one again, but their strategy is to go to the elbow, look for the immediate high-low. If you pinch down, you go to the wing for a jump shot, but they didn't get out there in time, and they were able to get the point via goaltending, but a really good offensive set by Tim Floyd.
Cooper Vint was 1 for 8 his first 6 games, getting a minute per game. He has 6 points here in the first half.
Well, they call that offensive.
This
Dave.
Foul on Trayvon Landry, and that is his 3rd.
I think they called him for the offhand extension. Looked like there was some contact, and they're saying that the offensive player initiated it. Now it's Marvin's turn to question some of the contact. This is a tough rivalry, and this is going to happen in the heat of battle. You know, this doesn't happen every day, but these two teams have a history remarkable over the years. I think it's 106, 101. It's so close.
You know what? It's such a rivalry. They don't even agree on how many times they've played and who's won how many.
No, they don't.
That's when you know you've got a rivalry.
Well, there's a 10 count.
Ball.
Yeah, that's a danger, Dave, of having a post guy attacking. What you do when you play a post guy is you know, he's a transporter. He's a passer. He's not a put on the floor guy. However, the last time that Cedric Lane had the ball, he did advance it. Big guys have to learn how to put it down, punch, dribble 2-3 times. You can't allow the defense to stand you up and not push the ball forward if they're not guarding you. You have to advance it by the pass or the dribble.
The Aggies now better than 3 minutes since their last field goal as Baker comes away short. We hit the 1 minute mark and a half.
Well, good tempo here with UTEP. They decided to pull them out and attack. They've had good success in the zone of going high-low, short corner action. You're going to see them now not be content with jump shots, but try to really get to the, again, a high post look by laying inside. That's as good a look as you're going to get against the zone.
That has been the story of the half for Cedric Lang. Great looks, and he's 1 for 5 from the field.
Well, the advantage for New Mexico State is that he'll give those looks up if they can avoid foul trouble, but those shots are shots that UTEP's capable of making. They've certainly missed their share.
About a 4-second differential, 16 to shoot. The Aggies may get the last shot of the half here. And a three-pointer from deep in the corner by D.K. Eldridge to tie it at 35.
Well, those are one of those situations where if you wind it down or you take the shot. Obviously, they decided they were feeling it and took the shot. Big basket, huge basket, giving New Mexico State a chance now to tie the game because the momentum was really swinging in UTEP's advantage. Now Tim Floyd uses his timeout. He'll definitely play for that last shot and see if he can go into halftime with a lead. That would be very significant. Any lead you get is going to be big in this game.
In the absence of Daniel Mullings, D.K. Eldridge and Remy Berry each with 10. And we're going to adjust the clock. We'll see how much officially left.
Looks
Eldridge
like,
at the 3.
Looks like 10.
That's what we thought when we got the timeout called. Eldridge, a 40% three-point shooter last year. The second leading scorer and three-point shooter a year ago as a junior.
Now the question is, do they go man or zone with the last shot at stake?
Omega Harris out front. 4 seconds.
Staying in the zone.
C.J. Cooper short at the buzzer. And we head to halftime tied at 35. Short-handed New Mexico State. Marvin Menzies broke out to an early 8-point lead. The Miners recovered. Aggies have the last word in the first half. Here in Las Cruces.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Get your ass. You're not sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Move. Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
They all home and home within a fortnight of each other. Thanks, guys. There's your score at halftime. UTEP and New Mexico State. This one in Las Cruces 2 weeks ago. They went at it in El Paso. Of course, just 40 miles apart. These two teams very acquainted with each other. on and off the court. Hi there, I'm Mick Schaefer. Nice to get acquainted with you here. Coming up at halftime, we'll relive that first meeting between the Miners and the Aggies right in the middle of the second meeting between the Miners and the Aggies. We're trying our best to confuse you here. And while we're at it, here are more games to clutter your mind with. Tomorrow, we've got more Conference USA for you. UAB hosting Illinois State. The Blazers are coming off a stretch of games where they played 3 straight top 25 opponents. Next Saturday, we're in the WAC. Omaha going to UMKC. The Roos with one of the bigger upsets in non-con play this season, a November victory at Missouri. And then it's a 3-pack of games next Sunday. Women's action in Conference USA. Mississippi State going to Southern Miss. And another in-state matchup, Wright State out of the Horizon League hosts Miami of Ohio. And once again, it's a UAB Sunday. Blazers hosting UNC Asheville. Coming up, UTEP was down 15 at one point last time around against New Mexico State, but battled all the way back to win by 1. We'll show you how they did it when we return.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to halftime here on ASN. UTEP and New Mexico State. I don't know where we were the last time around when these two teams played. Actually, I do know. We were in the middle of a 5-pack of football games on November 22nd on ASN, but this game would have been nice to show you as well. 2 Saturdays ago at the Dawn, the Miners fell into a 42-30 hole at halftime, but they dug out of it quickly in the second half when Vince Hunter scored 16 of his game-high 23 points.
But he wing left side of the lane to Hunter. Hunter turns, comes underneath, nice spin move. Hunter comes to the dribble, comes underneath. He's got a layup and he scores. He went right.
The Miners led by 6 with a minute left, but New Mexico State wasn't done. The Aggies cut it to 75-73 before freshman Omega Harris hit a putback with 18 seconds left.
One up, it doesn't go. Tipped by Wilms, taken by Harris, and he scores!
That was a big bucket because New Mexico State came down, drilled a 3 of their own to make it 77-76, but then misfired on the game winner.
I thought it was just a tremendous atmosphere and a great, great college basketball game. You know, we have had 100 years of these type of games. You never know what's going to happen. I thought they were outstanding, absolutely outstanding. The first half, the pressure, and they have a great look at the end of the game. One that they probably wish they had back. We're just fortunate that it didn't go down. But I think this is still one of the best Aggie teams that we played against. I love their perimeter. I think their big guys can score it and affect the game defensively. And we're very fortunate to get out with a win.
So much similar history between these two schools, both with Hall of Fame head coaches in Don Haskins and Lou Henson. UTEP won it all in 1966. New Mexico State made it to the Final Four in 1970. New Mexico State with 5 Sweet 16s, UTEP with 4. Both of them made it to the 1992 Sweet 16. It's the Battle of I-10, and it continues after this. Thanks for watching Halftime on ASN. It's back out to Las Cruces when we return.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
(35-35) here at the Pan American Center, Las Cruces, New Mexico halftime. New Mexico State shorthanded, much smaller, not nearly as deep as UTEP, but they have managed a tie. 20 more minutes. Basketball still here in Las Cruces. Dave Barnett and Ben Braun. And how has New Mexico State, do you think, responded to the news earlier this afternoon? Their best player, last year's WAC Player of the Year, this season's preseason WAC Player of the Year, Daniel Mullings, out for at least 2 months.
Well, I think, well, Dave, you know, they've played this game now, and they've only turned the ball over 4 times, which is their season low. They've had 3 games with 20 turnovers, so that's been a big key. They've also got to the line. They're shooting a very good percentage, 12 for 14. So, you know, they're battling. They're not knocking down a lot of their shots, but, you know, they're playing aggressively, and they're playing pretty good defense. They're holding UTEP down. I think they got off to a great start in this game. But, you know, they're really doing a good job right now finding some guys and hustling to the basket. They're hustling, Dave. And if they get this crowd into it, it's going to bode well for them.
Remy Berry with 10 points. DK Eldridge also with 10.
But they're going to have to get some production off for some players off the bench that aren't used to having those types of productions. But they're getting that right now. A couple of guys knocking shots down that have played limited minutes for them right now.
Eldridge with a late three-pointer forged the halftime tie. And for UTEP, they did not start their top player, Vince Hunter. He came off the bench, got in some foul trouble with that 6 points. Others had to pick up.
Well, everybody for UTEP has scored. They've got great balanced scoring. They've just got to do one guy right now is going to have to step up. I think Vince Hunter's going to have a big second half. And Julian Washburn must stay out of foul trouble. He's got 3 right now. That's going to be a concern for Tim Floyd.
That 40% for UTEP is the high water mark of the night. They were miserable from the field to start things out.
No, they've gone on some serious runs. But when you start the game, I think it was 2 for 15, and you come back and you shoot 40 for the half, they'll take that. Number of shots, as we've talked about, that they've missed. Some good looks to the basket. They convert those this half. It's going to be a different game. But, you know, it's a brand new game, second half. And I think both teams right now will step up. But you see the balance right now for UTEP, and you see two guys who stepped up the last time they played. Eldridge and Berry had big games against UTEP first time around, and they're carrying that forward into this game.
Eldridge, Berry, each in double digits. The advantage is what you would expect with the depth and the size advantage for UTEP. 20-6 Miners in bench points, and 23-14 Miners on the glass.
Well, that's going to be a big area. Second half, New Mexico State's going to have to even up that rebounding disparity, because they can't go in there and allow UTEP to get 9 offensive boards, many of which led to either a free throw or baskets, second chance points. So they're going to have to correct that this half.
Tied at the half. We'll start the second half here in Las Cruces when we come back.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Look at some of the individual lines in the first half. First of all, there's some people in foul trouble in this game. Julian Washburn, Vince Hunter, both with 3 fouls for UTEP. And with 3 for New Mexico State, Tremont Landry and Jonathan Wilkins.
Well, that's going to be a factor. We'll see if those players start or get significant time on the bench to recover. But, right now for UTEP, their seniors have to step up, and I'm sure Tim Floyd talked about that at halftime. Julian Washburn, Cedric Lane, a combined 2 for 8. C.J. Cooper, 1 for 4. Those guys are shooting 3 for 12. I know Tim's going to challenge them and make sure that those guys step up for their team. This is a rivalry where your seniors have been through this. They've got to step up in a very big road game, and give New Mexico State credit. They've battled hard without key guys.
And again, it will be Vince Hunter coming off the bench. UTEP leading scorer and rebounder, averaging a double-double, 16 points and better than 11 rebounds. Did not get the start tonight. The freshman Omega Harris did.
Good defense by Cedric Lane. Held his ground, slid his feet, kept his hands up, showed the official his hands, and really New Mexico State came up empty-handed. Very good defensive sequence for Cedric Lane.
Remy Berry puts up his first.
I think they're going to their power series, Dave. They're going to try to really, again, go right to the elbow and see if they can get some attacks / cuts to the basket. And there they find Washburn inside. No call inside, but that's where they want to go with it, on the block.
Turn right into the shot blocking ability of Pascal Siakam.
Good play, except he went against the wrong guy.
And now Siakam showing what he has learned already on the low post. That comes up short, but the move to get the shot off was impressive for a guy still very much in the learning stage with a very quick learning curve out of Cameroon.
either team getting to the basket very easily in this game.
Moses continue to come fast and furious. Move inside by Lang.
You know, both teams trying to impose their will right now, and I think if they can continue to stay with it, I think they'll pay dividends. But defensively, these teams have been stingy.
Well, Siakam will have to leave. Less than a minute into the half, he picks up his third. He's replaced by Wilkins, who had 3 fouls when he came off the bench in the first half. So they exchange foul trouble for foul trouble. Wilkins got his 3 in just 9 minutes of action. And he comes right up into the jersey of Lang. Almost takes it away.
Mexico State's playing very hard, aggressive defense. This is Marvin Nmsu basketball right now. They're trying to get into UTEP a little bit, and UTEP's trying to impose their will by going inside.
Lang dribbles it off his foot, out of bounds, turnover. Not many turnovers either way in the first half.
No, and I'm not sure Tim wanted Cedric to put the ball down and attack from such, deep out on the floor.
Only the 7th committed by the Miners. Aggies with only 4.
Two-man game.
Baker tried the jump stop. Tap wouldn't go. Wilkins stays after it. And still loose on the deck. And Tom O'Neill comes from midcourt with the call. And it will be against Jonathan Wilkins, and that is his 4th.
That's a tough break for New Mexico State. I thought that was a jump ball. I didn't quite see the contact. Thought both teams are just playing aggressively for loose ball. Not sure if we'll see that one again, but obviously the officials saw something else.
So Wilkins only in for a matter of seconds before he picks up number 4. Now Siakam has to come back in, and his next foul will be his 4th.
Tough when you talk about a team that's already depleted now to have to sit on the bench in serious foul trouble.
UTEP, a big front line. If they start Hunter, they go 6'8", 6'10", 7'1". And New Mexico State would be even bigger if they didn't have the 4 major injuries. They have 7'3" on their bench, 6'10" on their bench.
You're talking about 2 of the bigger teams in the country. That would be an interesting matchup.
Siakam turns into the block by Wilms. And here comes Washburn. Lang with the spin move, and he finally gets that short bank shot to fall.
That's an impressive move. A big man on the move, and Washburn gives it up to a big guy. A lot of coaches don't like you giving the ball up to your big guy running the floor because sometimes good things don't happen to a big guy in the move. But Cedric Lang shows you, I don't know if we have a chance to take a look at that, but that Cedric Lang shows you a really, I think a really tough move.
First points, second half. Aggies are 0 for 6 from the field after that stifling defense by Matt Williams.
A lot of block shots, Dave, in this game at the rim.
UTEP by 2.
Good sportsmanship isn't defined by a scoreboard.
It isn't defined by how high you jump or how fast you can run.
Good sportsmanship is all about character.
It is about doing your best for your coaches and teammates.
It is about having respect for your opponents, the officials, and the fans.
Good sportsmanship is winning with class and losing with dignity.
It's fair play, perseverance, and team spirit.
Good sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
slow starting second half. The only points belong to UTEP and a 2-point lead. New Mexico State, if they were at full strength, they would have a 7'3" center, a redshirt freshman Tanvir Bular. He's going to miss 6 more weeks, ankle injury in the preseason. They would have 6'10" senior Chalizi Napawe, out 4 weeks, deep bone bruise at his foot in the offseason. They would have Daniel Mullins, WAC Player of the Year last year, their leading rebounder at just 6'2". He doesn't have size, but he plays big, and somehow managed to hang with a much bigger, deeper UTEP team.
Well, give them credit because those are big losses. But, you know, teams rally. They find a way, Dave, and this is too big a game. It is every year. Certainly they're not going to come out and lay an egg. They're going to play hard, and they're going to battle. But give them credit because they had every reason, really, to be a little bit intimidated inside. Now they're having problems getting the ball to the basket, but I give them credit for continuing to take it at the big guys. Sometimes you got to take it at big guys to get them in foul trouble.
This discussion has continued all the way through the timeout and into what should be action now, with the scorers table and the officials.
They're probably discussing, I saw somebody with 2 fingers up. Maybe it was a foul. Again, foul disparity.
Well, there have been 3 fouls called already this half. They've all been called against New Mexico State. Remy Berry, nicely done, but around it out off the left hand. And Siakam will not be credited with the follow.
That was a good timeout by New Mexico State. They went right at their big guys, drove them, got a layup, just didn't finish it.
C.J. Cooper bumped out of bounds. That is the 4th Aggie team foul in less than 3 minutes.
Well, it's a good aggressive play, but I think a good call. There was some body contact. No question there was some contact there. Bump from behind.
Ian Baker's first. Lang started to feel his oats now after some frustrating results inside in the first half. He's up to 10.
And he is. We talked about that at the beginning of the half, that he's going to have to step up. The seniors have to step up, and so far Cedric Lane's had a big second half.
It's UTEP by 4. They trailed by as many as 8 early. First meeting, they trailed by as many as 15 before winning by 1 at home a couple of weeks ago. So Berry again drives with the left hand. This time it goes counted in 1.
Same formula, Dave. They're going to the high post ISO. They're sweeping and driving UTEP's bigs, and UTEP's bigs are isolated. A very tough place to defend in the high post. Not a lot of help side defense. Everybody's 1 pass away. So coaches like to put the ball in that high post in the hands of your best player in the high post and let him go to work. And now he has a chance to make a 3-point play.
Which he completes. Senior from Paris. High school ball in Miami and Loomis, California at Del Oro High School. His injury came after 9 games last year. His season ended. A strong start this year. 6th leading scorer in the WAC and nearly 14 per game. The Niners look low for Lang. Good results. Last few times he's touched it, in and out by Washburn.
Had a good look.
Siakam got it inside, crowded for Eldridge. Outside is where he misses. And Matt Wills, a 7'1" sophomore. Like so many of the Aggies from Ontario, from Leamington. 3-point bucket.
Omega Harris shooting 45% on the year from the 3-point line. That's not a surprise when he knocks that shot down. He's a good-looking player. Awfully good-looking freshman for Tim Floyd.
First points tonight. He had 13 in the first meeting in his first collegiate start. Started this one as well. And that was it for Tim Floyd. And it wasn't quite so much about Vince Hunter as it was trying to get Omega Harris going again against the team he played well against a couple of weeks back. Ball deflected right into the hands of Landry. 3 on the shot clock, and fouled by Harris.
You know, that was a good defensive sequence until the very end. I think he got a little bit aggressive, but you know, you can't fault his effort. Omega obviously, Urban playing very good defense.
42-38, Miners. Back in Las Cruces, Dave Barnett and Ben Braun. You may have noticed an upset of note around the country today. It was in Ann Arbor. It was pulled by a team known as NJIT. They beat Michigan by 2. And I bet I wasn't the only person who saw that score and said, first of all, what is NJIT? Who are they? How did they beat Michigan? It's New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Well, that's a tough time. This is a tough time of year, Dave. This is right before finals for a lot of schools, and sometimes you're playing teams that you know on paper you're supposed to beat, and those teams that are supposedly supposed to lose, you can't tell them that. They're out there. That's going to make their season. They're going to play loose, and they're going to play with everything they got. So that's really why I like these rivalry games. You always get up for these games. You never ever overlook, look past your opponent.
First point for Trayvon Landry. That's the basketball version of Michigan losing a few years ago in football to Appalachian State. But the difference is people have heard of Appalachian State. They have a great program on the FCS level.
Well,
back
a couple years ago, they were really down. Their program actually has gotten better, but there's more parity in college basketball, Dave. It's not surprising to see teams in college basketball knock each other off. North Florida got a big win today on the road, and Purdue lost at home. Miami, Florida lost. So a lot of upsets today, more than I think there's been any other day in the season.
C.J. Cooper drops into 3.
Great look. Great pass by Omega Harris and a great knockdown by C.J. Cooper. Again, the seniors stepping up, Dave. They've got to do that in a game of this magnitude. C.J. Cooper knocking down the shot very, very confidently.
That is career three-pointer number 120 for C.J. Cooper, 7th all-time in UTEP history.
Well, he's a good shooter, and he's somebody that can get their team going.
No call on the turnover by Eldridge. Vince Hunter into the game. First time this half. He came off the bench for 6 points, but 3 fouls in the first half.
UTEP showing a little zone concepts in that last play. Look for Tim Floyd to make some adjustments. He's done that his whole coaching career.
Wilms.
Nicely done. Ball went right to the block, and again, they're not taking any chances into shooting from the outside. They're going to really try to exploit the foul trouble that New Mexico State has and go right to the blocks.
Matt Wilms played his entire freshman year last year with a torn labrum.
That's a tough injury.
I don't know how you play a game, much less an entire year with that.
No, that's one of the tougher injuries you have. It's something you don't come back from very easy, but tough players find a way to make things happen.
His lead for UTEP with a chance maybe to turn it into a double-digit margin on this possession. Cooper jackknives in and has 9 points, and the lead is 9 points.
He's imposing his will right now, as seniors should, and he's really taking his team and causing and forcing Marvin Menzies to call a timeout. Good timeout by Coach Menzies. He's going to try to regroup his team and at the same time maybe cool off now a very hot and spirited UTEP team. They're playing awfully well right now.
UTEP, as we said, opened 4-0, beating Washington State, New Mexico State, Princeton, and Xavier, coming off losses by 3 to Washington and Colorado State. And upcoming, Incarnate Southeastern Louisiana, and then what should be an interesting matchup with Arizona.
Well, you know, both teams play a good schedule, Dave, and I give Tim and I give Marvin credit because they go out there and they play people. They're not afraid to challenge their team, and that's why their teams do well in their conference. I think both of these teams are odds-on favorites, really, to be at the top of their conference when the year winds down. And their non-conference schedule, some of the games they're playing will have a lot to do with preparing their teams to win their conferences.
Tim Floyd returning. 81% of the points, 75% of the rebounds from a 23-11 team last year. Picked second preseason by the Conference USA coaches behind Louisiana Tech.
Again, UTEP in the zone.
And Huggins knocks down a 3.
Hunter didn't get out. Challenge. I think he was in a good position. You know, you've got a 6'8" wing. Vince Hunter's got to get out there, especially on the first pass. That wasn't a reversal or a skip pass. He's got to get out there and really make that a tougher shot.
Over their second field goal this half. One they badly needed.
Good timeout by Tim Floyd. There was about to be a 5 count. New Mexico State picking up the pressure. And Marvin talked about that, I know, in the timeout. And they step up and they really almost force a turnover. Good timeout. And we'll see if they can continue the pressure on UTEP to try to slow them down.
New Mexico State will have a week before they get back into action. On the road at Oral Roberts, later at Baylor. Their in-state rivalry with New Mexico will be renewed on the 20th. And then they will get into WAC play. And they've dominated the WAC the last 3 years, winning the postseason tournament. Favored to do so again 4 times in the last 5 years. In fact, they've won.
Well, they've done a great job in their league. But, you know, it's interesting. We're talking to Marvin Menzies today, and they play New Mexico twice, Dave, and they also play UTEP twice. Think about that. 2 rivalries. Most teams only have 1. They've got 2 almost. A little bit longer history with UTEP, but 2 rivalries. They play them both home and home. Those are 4 tough games for Marvin's team.
Wednesday they played at New Mexico and led by 13 after 10 minutes. Lobos closed with a big run at the end of the first half and won 62-47.
Well, they beat them last year at New Mexico, so he's done a great job. Great steal.
Ian Baker. And it's Huggins. Back-to-back baskets by the freshman from Bakersfield.
They're not going away, Dave. New Mexico, Marvin Menzies' team is not going to go away. UTEP's going to have to really play with some boys and understand that New Mexico State's going to play hard and try to turn them over and again make this about pressure.
Huggins has personally turned this from a 9 to a 4-point game.
I thought that Vince Hunter had great position, and for some reason Cedric Lang had trouble finding him inside, but that's what Tim Floyd's going to do, is look to go high-low, exploit the inside, get back to the foul line, and really try to punish right now a smaller team. Marvin Menzies going with a very smaller lineup out there now.
Foul was on Jalen Petty, his second. And here is Hunter, matched with the redshirt freshman Petty.
Don't be surprised if they go back down in the blocks to Hunter, who definitely has a mismatch on the inside.
6 points, 5 boards for Hunter, averaging a double-double. It's inside. In a crowd.
What a tough shot. I don't know if you saw that, Dave, but he put that ball in his off hands, absorbed a little contact, and knocked it down. He's really a load down there. Really does a good job of using his body and getting his quickness to the basket.
The scoring, rebounding, block shot, and steals leader in their first 6 games.
Only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore out of Detroit. Chance to run. DJ Cooper inside. One-handed grab by Hunter and immediately double teamed. And the shot was going to be a jam, but Jalen Penny had other ideas. Landry off balance with contact against Cooper, and back to a 4-point game.
I think Hunter tried to split the double team and actually had an opponent against 3, and New Mexico State turns him over. Tim's trying to go back again. Tim Floyd trying to go to an elbow set.
Aggie fans were quiet for a while. Now they have reason to get loud again.
Crowd's a factor, Dave, and I said that at the beginning of the half. If the crowd can somehow get back in this game, that's going to be really a 6-man advantage for New Mexico State. But this crowd is, I think they're ready to go.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish. In your face, in your face.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
New Mexico State being outshot now 46% to 35%. They're out-rebounded 30-21. How are they within 4?
Well, it's the spirit of this team. You know, they were down 9, Dave, and they just refused to go away. And UTEP was playing awfully good basketball, but they just stayed with it. They're attacking. They're playing aggressively. And UTEP can't relax because this is a very scrappy team. Again, a team that had UTEP down 15 in their own gym. So now they're on the road, UTEP. They've got to find a way to stay aggressive, and New Mexico State's not going to go away. They're going to continue to use their aggression and maybe try to avoid just, you know, being in foul trouble. It's tough to do, but UTEP's going to try to go at them. There's no doubt.
They've been called for 5 team fouls this half, UTEP only 2, but the aggressiveness, the offensive end paying off for the Aggies. They're 15 of 17. They are getting to the line, and UTEP is 10 of 13.
Well, and UTEP's back to the man-to-man. They're going to want to get more aggressive and take advantage of some of their good first-half defense.
Landry's drive down to Siakam, back in, playing with 3 fouls, and Pascal fouled in the low block.
I think that was Vince Hunter, Dave.
And that would be his 4th.
That's very significant. That was a reach-in. I don't know. The referee called a reach-in on the contact, and that's a very costly foul. Look for that now to be a huge factor in this game.
Right there. So halfway to go still in the second half. Landry drives the baseline with another big basket. He has cut it to 2. Trayvon Landry. All 6 of his here in the second half. Siakam almost gets the steal. He does get the rebound off the miss in the corner by Morris. Eldridge rejected, but out of bounds after the block. And back over to New Mexico State as Lou Stallworth couldn't keep it in bounds. And Stallworth replaced by Harris.
Nice job by the freshman Stallworth coming in, giving Tim Floyd good minutes.
Nmsu's called timeout when this game was really teetering. It was 49-40.
A great timeout. I thought UTEP had the game in their favor, and the momentum really swinging in their direction.
It's been pretty much all Aggies ever since then. They could shoot for a tie or a lead here. They go to Siakam against Williams. How about that? Still just a beginner, according to his coach.
Well, that's remarkable. Again, going to a first-year player like that and getting those type of results, huge for New Mexico State. Now we've got a ball game, and look at the crowd. Dave, they're really in the game right now. It's going to make a big factor. It's going to make a big difference in this game.
Eldridge with the steal in the corner. Landry. And the reach on what Matt Williams thought was all ball.
Well, that's a good call. UTEP not getting back in transition. Turnover takes place. You've got to hustle back there and make New Mexico attack you in your half-court, in their half-court offense.
And that is number 4 on Williams. So he joins Vince Hunter in deep foul trouble. And Trayvon Landry.
Well, Dave,
untie it.
Did you expect anything less in this game?
I did not.
You know, we talked about that, but this was a heck of a game at the end of the first half, and it's a heck of a game right now. Both teams really going after it. Good play defensively, good hustle play, and here they come in transition. UTEP not getting back, not getting numbers back, and then fouling, especially at the end. I don't think he was going to make that shot, but a big fella came across the arm and put Landry to the line for 2.
And an obvious hack by Williams. So New Mexico State from 9 down to 2 up. Williams still in the game. Harris.
That's a freshman, Dave. How about that for poise? He runs the show, gets down to the basket, and that's Rajon Rondo at his best right down there.
Remy Berry gets a step on Lang and drives inside. He's got 15. Berry, their leading scorer by a fraction over the injured Mullins coming in, will have to be even more so in the next 2 months. New Mexico State has any hope living up to the high preseason expectations in the WAC. Now here's Wells playing with 4. And the foul inside. Berry tried to draw the charge. He didn't get it on the initial play, but Williams, going for his own rebound, has fouled out with 7:59 remaining and UTEP trailing by 2. Well, Matt Williams has fouled out of the game with almost 8 minutes to go with 5 points. He did have 9 rebounds and 4 blocked shots.
Played well, Dave. He's been a big factor in this game. Unfortunately, he's on the floor with 4, and he picks up his 5th after missing a shot.
Williams spent some time at Consortium High School in Detroit 1 year, including Vince Hunter. And he called Vince, in fact, to recruit him for UTEP successfully for Tim Floyd, as it turned out. Hunter has come back into the game, and he has 4 fouls. So Tim Floyd up to his neck in foul trouble with still nearly 8 minutes to go.
And we thought that New Mexico State was the team in foul trouble. Now the tables have turned and things have evened up a little bit.
Side clear for D.K. Eldridge. Guarded by the freshman Harris. Trayvon Landry now running the team. The absence of Mullins. 5 on the shot clock for Siakam. And the baseline hook. Didn't get this one to fall. But some impressive low post moves.
Both teams, I'm very impressed that they're going inside and they're having to play pretty good one-on-one post defense and an advantage to the offensive player.
Washburn, and the rebound knocked out to Trayvon Landry, and Siakam runs the floor, and Landry pays him off.
The crowd's into this game now, there's no doubt, and UTEP's going to have to find a way to stem the tide.
I keep shaking my head at the fact that this is the first year of organized basketball for Pascal Siakam. You would think he's been playing since he was 6 years old.
Absolutely, he's really playing well.
This will be a reach. And this is going to be on Hunter, who looks at Tom O'Neill and says, "You got to be kidding me. Here's another look at Siakam being paid off for running the floor." But Vince Hunter fouls out now, and he looked to be about 10 feet away from that play. So he shakes his head as he heads to the bench, fouling out to join his former high school teammate.
That's a very big loss for the Miners.
8 points, 5 rebounds, 5 fouls, 6.5 minutes still to go. UTEP without its double-double scoring and rebounding leader, Vince Hunter. Siakam spinning, going after his own rebound, and he's been playing with 3. But this foul is going to be called outside on Remy Berry, and he's got plenty to spare in just a second.
Well, the Aggies have had to play shorthanded now. Now the Miners are going to have to play shorthanded. We'll see what happens, but teams are going to have to dig deep right now. Both teams depleted. It's going to come down to how these players that are coming in the game, some guys that haven't played as much, and how they contribute to their teams.
Miners down 4, under 6. Siakam crowds Lang, and Cedric makes him pay.
Now that's a 6'10" guy getting to the basket in a hurry, and I don't think anybody's getting in his way. Great move by the big fellow. Big basket for UTEP.
Much improved offensive weapon as a senior. Cedric Lang out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 2 state titles at O'Gorman High School there. And traveling on Eldridge.
That's a good call by the official. Again, getting into the paint, but not playing under control, coming to a jump stop.
Trying to picture Cedric Lang, 6'10", 255. O'Gorman High, Sioux Falls. Also playing baseball. I guess he had to have been a first baseman, maybe a Randy Johnson type pitcher. And football.
You see he plays at the back of the press. He directs things. He can pass. He's very adept. But he's a very, very significantly improved player. I think, as I said earlier, as improved a player as there's going to be in Conference USA.
This is going to be, I would think, on Eldridge, his second.
Don't be surprised if this game comes down to the foul line and which team's going to knock down free throws and get themselves to the line. But both teams right now really in some serious foul trouble. or actually having fouled out in UTEP's case, losing 2 of their top players.
So Irvin Morris out of Tallahassee Community College. And this is the front end badly. New Mexico State rushes it up the court. And Siakam unable to set his feet after the pass down low from Baker.
Well, Morris is a 50% free throw shooter. He's going to have to work on that because he's an aggressive player. He can get to the line, but he's got to have to knock those down.
Breather for DK Eldridge. As Matt Taylor, redshirt freshman from Toronto, checks in. Makings of a Battle of I-10 classic as we hit the 5-minute mark in a 2-point game. First meeting 77-76 UTEP in El Paso a couple of weeks back. Lang on the low block. Held off by Siakam. Still playing with only 3 fouls. None this half. Baker missed on the drive. A big miss in transition. They give it right back because Omega Harris stepped on the sideline.
Well, they didn't have the kind of floor spacing they wanted in that break. I think they're not running 15 feet apart. That's up to the point guard to kind of settle things down. And the guys running the wing have to space a little bit better, but UTEP had opportunity there, had some numbers, and I know they'd like to have cashed that in.
Wilkins is back in, playing with 4 fouls. He replaces Siakam. Siakam also with 4. Penny into the game. Here's Taylor. Driving on Morrison, counted and 1. Matt Taylor goes for the 3-point play.
Good drive to the basket, aggressive play again. UTEP's going to have to keep Mexico State out of the paint.
Free throw shooting is the difference for the Aggies. 17, now 18 out of 20. UTEP 10 out of 14. Landry and Penny in the double team, and this will be a reach on Jalen Penny, and this is his 3rd.
Well, they're trying to isolate Julian Washburn at the elbow and try to drive and get to the line, and they did. Now it's up to Washburn, who's been an excellent free throw shooter this year, to knock these free throws down. And I like the strategy. Get the ball in one of your best players' hands and get them to the basket, get them to the foul line. Julian Washburn, a senior, at the line, 83% on the year.
This is only the 2nd and about to be the 3rd free throw shot this half by the Miners. And Washburn averaging 11.5 per game on 83% from the foul line.
Well, he's a dependable player and very unselfish player, Dave. He's 18 assists on the year, only he's 10 turnovers. He's going to make good decisions for his team, and putting the ball in his hands, I think good things happen. So look for Julian Washburn to get the ball in his hands more down the stretch, and obviously.
Well, some really needless contact away from the basket here.
Who they?
They call that on Hooper Vint for UTEP. Under 4 minutes to go and a tight one in Las Cruces.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, Banks. Have a seat and let me make you uncomfortable. Up those grades, son.
or the only position you'll be playing in college is sitting on me. You're still awake? Have a seat on old Mr. Bench. At least your buns will fall asleep.
Is this the one about the high school hotshot who gets benched in college? Hey, Manti, move down. It's a tearjerker!
Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake.
There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Tim Floyd minus two pretty key ingredients who have both fouled out. Vince Hunter with 8 points, half his average. And Matt Wilms with 5 points, right at his average. But that's two of his usual three frontline starters he's had to do without now for quite some time in a game in which they trailed by 3.
Well, that's a big loss for Tim Floyd and the Miners because those guys are used to making plays for their team. And to have those guys on the bench out of the game, that's going to put pressure on their team to make some adjustments. Obviously, Julian Washington's going to step up, Cedric Lane step up, and C.J. Cooper with some big baskets, he's going to have to step up as well.
That's about how every game's been for UTEP so far. 5 of their first 6 games this year decided by 6 points or fewer.
Well, when you're a good team like UTEP is, you're going to get everybody's best effort. They're not going to take you lightly, and they know that they're talented and they're well coached. They're going to go out there and play hard. And New Mexico State's giving UTEP obviously a battle. Some people didn't think that was going to happen with their losses, but they're battling right now. They're in the line. They're going to get a chance to extend their lead.
So the foul before the timeout was on Hooper, Vint his third, and Jonathan Wilkins knocks down the front end. Both teams in the bonus with 3:59 remaining.
They must have been working on their free throws because their percentage is awfully high. And again, if this comes down to free throw shooting, the Aggies get in the plus column.
They are, even with that miss, 19 out of 22. They were just okay coming in. 64% before tonight. Cashed in on turnovers, though. 13 UTEP turnovers, and they have committed only 8. So the Aggies have played cleanly. A one-hand miss. In and out for Morris.
Got his posted position a little bit off the block. Didn't get the ball quite where he wanted to.
Freshman Huggins in charge. Aggies very difficult to beat here in the Pan American Center, where they won 13 straight, 32 of their last 34. Baker barely draws iron. Berry kept it alive, but it comes down to Omega Harris. And a one-man fast break till he finds Morris open, but misses in the corner.
Good opportunity there. Good fast break. Open three, just didn't knock it down. But those are the kind of shots that I think you can live with.
UTEP 42% from the field. New Mexico State 38%. They're good from beyond the arc. 4 out of 7 are the Aggies. And timeout call before Eldridge and Morris got tangled up. And now it's the Miners who have gone cold. Their last basket about 3.5 minutes ago. 5:53 remaining.
Marvin Menzies calling timeout in the nick of time. That was about to be a tied up jump ball or a turnover.
Marvin Menzies, we said, with a very international flavor on his roster. 9 of 15 are foreign-born, including 5 from Toronto. Talking about that earlier today, he said it's partly from being in coaching so long and the contacts that he's developed around the globe. But he said, I'll go wherever I have to go on the planet if I get the right players.
That's true, Dave. You know, I remember being on the road and seeing Marvin Menzies and the staff, and Marvin obviously on the road a lot. He's an active recruiter, knows a lot of people in the game, and when you're coaching the amount of years he has, he's got tremendous contacts, and that helps. So not a surprise. You get players in here, you know, he's going to continue to do that and use the context wherever he can. He seems like he's got a pretty good pipeline, certainly in some of those areas.
Two best players, Mullins from Toronto, Berry from Paris. 8 on the shot clock for the Aggies. And here's Remy Berry off the jump stop. Siakam on the offensive glass, and he's fouled by Lang. Or did the shot clock expire?
They may have to review that. Shot clock violation, Dave. Good break for the Miners, but good defense nonetheless. Huge break for them.
Tom O'Neal, Larry Spalding, Chris Rastatter got together, talked it over, came to a quick agreement. Full court pressure. With 2:20 remaining. And Morris taking Eldridge in deep into the block by Siakam.
Well, he's everywhere, isn't he, Dave? He's such an active player.
Led the WAC in blocks, nearly 2 per game in the early going this season. An 8-game sample. You've already seen tonight how he does it. Great timing, court awareness. That's his 4th of this game.
Well, now he's almost going on 20 for the year, so really tough to go over the top of Siakam.
You've coached against him, Floyd. You know him pretty well. What's he drawn up here?
Well, again, I think he's going to try to take advantage. You know, it's tough to go over the top of Siakam, but, you know, shot blockers are foul prone, too. They like to get up in the air, so I don't think they're going to hesitate going back inside if they can. They're going to try to find a mismatch. They've got time on the clock, and they'll see if they can try to get, again, a look from a high-low. Cedric Lang's been active. You know, they've kind of gone away from Cedric a little bit. That's not taking anything away from the strategy of UTEP. It's really a lot about New Mexico State's defense. They're putting clamps down pretty hard, but I know that they're going to try to give him a look inside if they can. Washburn's going to have to be aggressive. If they pinch down, then you've got C.J. Cooper, who can knock down big shots. C.J. Cooper's knocked down big shots his whole career, and if they decide to sink down on their post players, he's going to have to knock down those outside shots.
Here's Cooper. Wrap around feed, another block by Siakam, rejecting Cedric Lang. When he's actually played, let's say, 2 years of organized basketball. What a monster he's going to be.
Incredible. Great look from Cooper to Lang. You thought that was a layup and it was a done deal, but not with Siakam on the floor. Somehow he erased that shot and does it in a hurry and avoided fouls.
5 block shots, still playing with 4 fouls. But that's been the case for a while now. Baseline whistle on Cedric Lang, his 3rd.
Here's a block shot, Dave, and again, great look. Boom. He comes over from the weak side and knocks it back. You know, I thought that was a sure 2 points. That would have been a huge basket for UTEP, cutting the lead to 2. Now a chance for the Aggies to extend their lead with only a little over a minute to play.
Redshirt freshman from Douala, Cameroon. One of 2 Africans on Marvin Menzies' roster, and he has knocked down all 5 of his free throws.
Well, that's what's impressive as a player in a pressure game, getting the line, collecting his breath, and his composure, and knocking down. These are huge free throws.
Polished well beyond his basketball years. And a 6-point lead inside a minute and a half. UTEP 4.5 minutes since their last field goal. Count that one and 1.
Well, UTEP's not going away either, Dave. And as I mentioned, C.J. Cooper has made a career out of making big shots, stepping up as a senior, and that's a big play for his team.
And that is also going to be it for Pascal Siakam. He picks up his 5th foul in what C.J. Cooper will try to turn into a 3-point play.
Well, that could be significant not to have him down the stretch, because now you watch Tim Floyd, he's making substitutions. He's going to try to go back inside, see if they can attack the rim without Siakam in the game, and that's going to be good strategy. They still have a lot of possessions left in this game. no need to hurry anything right now.
And Cooper gets some three-point play for a three-point ball game, a minute 19.
UTEP's got to keep New Mexico State off the line. They've got to make them shoot from the perimeter and chase down rebounds.
Jonathan Wilkins replacing Siakam. He has 4. And he's fouled by Hooper Ved, who now has 4.
Very tightly called game, Dave, especially in the low block. A lot of contact. Not sure who initiated that contact. Sometimes officials catch the second bit of contact, but they sure called it close. They're talking to the big fellas now, but these are big calls, big free throws.
Double bonus in effect for the Aggies. Next foul, UTEP will have the double bonus.
Well, they may foul Wilkins because Wilkins, as we've mentioned, has really struggled on the line. Has not hit a free throw this year, if I'm not mistaken.
He hadn't coming in. He is 2 for 5 tonight.
Now
makes him 2 for 8 for the year. And 1 out of 2. For a minute 10.
Still a 2-possession game.
Cooper challenging Wilkins, and he hit the bottom of the backboard. Hoping to score and foul Wilkins out just the same way he did Siakam a moment ago.
They're definitely going to foul Wilkins right now rather than let them waste clock, and I think that's a good strategy. Make the big fella go back to the line, think about it. Only problem right now.
Who has fouls to give? Not very many. Now Lang has 4.
Well, that's a problem. I think they would have preferred a guard make that foul, but they're going to take advantage of this right now and see if they can just give up maybe 1 for 2. Kind of trade a 2 for 1 down the stretch.
Yeah, Jonathan strings together 2 straight from the line and a 5-point lead, 51.5.
Well, that's a big free throw. If he can knock this down, that's going to make it almost a 2 to 3 possession game.
Brother John Walter Wilkins played at Illinois State. Jonathan knocks them both down at 66-60. And now the minor margin for error, very slim. Morris, nice drive and a backhand finish for Irvin.
Good score and a timeout. Stop the clock. Still a lot of time left on the clock. Still a 2-possession game, but that's a good move. Get to the rim. Clock right now is very key. Here you'll see the spin. They had an inside position, but obviously gave up the drive, and that was a good cross and a good finish at the rim by Irvin Morris.
And it looked as if Morris might have left his feet.
Well, he was on his tiptoes, let's put it that way. Don't know if the officials are going to call that this late, but as they say, you know, a travel's still a travel, no matter if there's 30 seconds on the clock or 20 minutes on the clock. So
apparently that wasn't.
Nope. But I always like officials that let you decide a game. Right now, Tim Floyd's talking about his defense, and obviously with a 2-possession game, I think he's going to try to play pressure defense for maybe the first few seconds of this clock. If they can't come up with a steal, Dave, they're going to go for a foul. They can't let a lot of clock go off, but they're definitely going to try to see if they can force the turnover without fouling.
As you saw, when they had fouled, New Mexico State's made them pay 12 of 14 this half, 24 of 28 for the game. Now there's the foul.
There's a foul. I don't think they wanted the ball to get into Baker's hand so easily. They were trying to deny, but as you noticed, Lang was matched up on Baker, and that was no match as Baker just flashed the ball, caught, and was able to dribble out some time. So now the clock's a big factor.
Ian Baker's first trip to the line tonight, he's 71% so far for the year. And it's the front end of the double bonus.
So much for percentages. It seems like every time we mention a percentage, either way, it goes the other way. But this is still a big free throw. Still a huge free throw to separate. UTEP's going to need 2 scores and some stops.
Shot clock off, final 25 seconds, 67-62, Aggies. Harris misses on the drive. Ian Baker down to D.K. Eldridge to An amazing win by a shorthanded New Mexico State team. (69-64). Eldridge now with the final word.
Big win for New Mexico State, Dave, under the conditions. You can't say enough about their effort.
That does not count by Irvin Morris, but the issue had already been decided. And New Mexico State, which earlier today found out they would be without the Player of the Year in the Western Athletic Conference, Daniel Mullings, their senior leader, for at least 8 weeks, facing finger surgery, injured at practice Thursday. Short-handed, still managed to split this year's Battle of I-10 69-64.
Well, Dave, that's why you play the game. You know, you can't tell those other players who are now getting a chance to play that they can't play. They've been asking for this opportunity. Hey, coach, put me in, give me a chance. And they did that. I thought some guys stepped up in a real big way, a huge way for New Mexico State. A gutty performance against a short-handed team that refused to die.
A happy Pan American Center.
A happy Coach Marvin Menzies.
Marvin Menzies joins us.
There's a happy
Coach,
man.
you found out earlier today you're without your best player, and yet you pulled this big win. How did you emotionally pull your team together to focus on the issue at hand as well as they did tonight?
You know, it's we've all been in those situations where, you know, you got a man down and the character of your team really decides whether they're going to rally or not. I could say whatever I'm going to say, but they got to decide whether they're going to go in and play like men as a freshman. You know, Matt Taylor's play, Jalen's play, Jonathan Wilkins' play, Pascal's play. Those are all freshmen. And so that, you know, that's the story.
How did you know, Marvin, you overcame the problem of not having guys on the floor, but how did you and your team overcome the foul trouble, the serious foul trouble you guys were in? That's what amazed me.
You know, we've had a problem with fouling people all year long, and it's something that we had been talking about. So when we got in that situation again, it was like, all right, look, guys, we've been here before. Can we please just get really active with our hands? And we talked about the fundamentals, as you know, Ben, and just not breaking your wall and just trying to get deflections, old, you know, Louisville stuff, and that just, it worked out for us.
You also cut the turnovers down, a huge stat for you because that had been, you're a nemesis, but now you did a great job.
Right.
A lot of happy fans. I never got those kisses on the forehead like you're getting. You better enjoy that, Coach.
I wouldn't have got them either if we didn't win.
Pascal Siakam, in his first year of organized basketball, this is a savant. I mean, the plays he makes are of a guy who's been playing since he was 5 years old.
How about the recruiting eye of myself recognizing him in the community?
You've got Cameroon. You've got a line drawn around Cameroon. You own that country.
Your assistants
it's a big place with a lot of talent. So.
You and your staff have done a great job. That young man plays way beyond his years. And as you were telling me today in shoot around, I know how excited you are about having him for future games, and especially coming for the rest of your season. You're going to need that young man.
Yeah, there's no question, especially with the big guys that we have out, Tanvir and Chile, which I'm sure you guys talked about. He's got to step up. I told him he's got to play like a sophomore, and he doesn't have time to wait until the end of the season. So.
Coach, you're outshot, you're out-rebounded, but you make up for it at the foul line. That's where you won this game.
It is an amazing deal. If you looked at the stat sheet from our game at UTEP in El Paso, if you looked at the stat sheet, Tim and I talked after the game, there's no way you thought we would have won that game. And you look at today, and it's just the opposite. But that is the beautiful thing about rivalries. Rivalries bring a dynamic that's inexplicable. You can't explain it.
Well, you guys are down 9, and I thought UTEP was making a move. You called, I thought, a great timeout, rally your troops, and then made some big plays. And your guys never looked back, but your team continued to fight. And that's I think, a credit to you and your staff. You guys do a great job. You got a great staff that works hard. And
we do.
You beat not only a good team, you beat a great coach, Tim Floyd. And
no question.
Just to want to say to you, Marvin, I've known you a long time. Appreciate you as a coach, as a person. I always enjoyed coaching against you, and I like the fact that you've continued to play this rivalry, and I hope you'll continue to play for many more years. I know you got New Mexico twice and UTEP twice.
Right.
No coach does that, but I commend you for doing that. You're doing good things for the game of basketball and for this community.
Thank you so much.
You're
Ben.
only
I
40
appreciate
miles
it.
away. You can't hide from each other.
No, that's not happening. Trust me, if I tried not to play those games, there'd be a mutiny here.
You'd be hauled to the state legislature.
You have to embrace it. You know, it's a separate season all in itself. You get your non-conference, your conference, your postseason, hopefully, and then you have your rivalry season, and it truly is treated that way. So we lost both our road games, and we got a good start to trying to win both of the home games.
And a big win tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
71-64. Our final, Marvin Menzies, 13-game home winning streak is stretched to 14 straight. Short-handed, but winners over UTEP tonight. 71-64 for Ben Braun, our crew, Dave Barnett.
Enjoy
Good night from Las Cruces,
you guys will be all right.
New Mexico. We join Conference USA Showcase in progress.
Already, but when they played Oklahoma, they're playing in front of 80,000 plus fans. It's the first game of the year. Everybody's all hyped.